with a goal from Shevchenko. Of course he does, and it's Rodrigo with the assist.
Oh, yes!
Hello and welcome back to another episode as part of the Corners of Europe Challenge, and welcome back to Shakhtar, where in today's episode we have got two games coming up. One game actually, I've just realised we've got our season preview, and then we've got one game it is in the Super Cup final. We're going to try and reclaim that title that we lost out on last year, along with the cup as well, the Ukrainian Cup. We lost out on both of them. We're going to be playing against Karpaty today in the bid to try and win that back. Obviously, yesterday you'll know exactly what happened. We unfortunately lost the Champions League final 4-3. We lost that game, 45,000 Shakhtar fans in attendance, but it was not enough for us and we weren't able to get over the line. Now, on reflection, I've looked back at the game, I've looked at some things, and I've thought, could we have done much more? I really am not too sure. I think we've played so well in this campaign, and to lose in the final is really frustrating for that reason, because of how well we've played and the memories we've made along the way. But in this final, it was just a difference of one goal. The scoreline was very big, but we both created quite a few chances. We had a lot of the ball compared to other games. We had a lot more, but it was just separated by a late goal for Arsenal in the end. And that could we have done much more? I don't really know. I've been looking at Carlo Ancelotti recently. He was leading a Champions League final 3-0, and then he lost it in 10 minutes. It went to 3-3, and then lost on penalties. And he said, "Well, they played well for 110 minutes, but could they have done much more? Really?" He doesn't know. He went and won it 2 years later. And now, for me personally, that is the plan, to win it within the next 2 years. And there's reasons behind that. We'll look at that in this season preview. We can go straight onto it now. Go look at the transfer history. And I don't. I'm going to come out and say it has been a quite disastrous transfer window for us. It's been so difficult, so difficult with what we've had to navigate. I think we have to start with players who've left us, and two of these players, two players who we bought in a few years ago. We brought them in on, we bought them from clubs as domestic options. They've been so good for us, but we didn't renew their contracts, and with 6 months to go, the Saudi clubs just came in and just took him. The first player, Mikhail Zharov, has left us. He's gone over to Al Fayed, as you can see there. I'm very gutted we've lost him. He was such a good option for us. Played so many games, 79 league games, as you can see there. That's close to every game possible in the league. He was such a good option, so consistent. I'm gutted we lose him, especially because we paid 23 million for him, and now we get nothing back. It's so annoying, but what can you do? Along with Kravchuk as well. Kravchuk was an even more important player for us. He's gone and left us to Altai, as you can see. One kind of nice thing is that if we go and take a look, he is pairing Pereira there, as you can see. The two still play. Pereira's still there after 7 years. 7 years after leaving Tromsø, which is, I wish we could have brought him, but I guess not. Them two pair each other there now, which is good. But at the same time, I'm gutted we lose him. He was such a reliable option, and we've just lost him like that. So disappointing. But what can you do, really? The next player who has left us, Enrique, has left us. I think it's a reasonable deal to let him go. He's been an amazing option for us over the last 5 years, but he was not going to re-sign. He wanted to leave. How much did we get for him? Let's take a look. 17 million. How old is he now? He is 33 years old. He goes to Real Betis, who I don't know what competition they are contesting. They are contesting the Conference League. So good team like that could go on and do well. Really good player for us, but was never going to re-sign. We might as well cash in on him, and he's given us some good service overall. A good deal in the end. The next player to leave was Sousa. He's gone over to Alpha Xyli, as you can see there. We signed him as a free deal, and to get, what was it, 11 million back, I think it was. Not too bad. We were looking to replace him, a centre back anyway. We have lost him. Obviously he's gone to another club, and I would have liked to have kept him, but I guess not. he has left us whilst we're looking for a new centre back anyway. He was never going to get that role this year, and now he has gone over there along with Marco Antonio, and he was one of the first players we ever brought in, the first big player I'd argue we brought in. He's been, how many years was he here for? 5 years he was. He was not going to re-sign either. We made a bit of a loss on him, but he's given us good years of service over his time being here. And how many games did he play? How many games did he play last year? Is this? Yeah, this is this season. He managed to get 17 games, even with that serious injury he had. Very, very consistent option, and it's a shame we lose him as another, good squad player we had. But overall, it was a good deal in the end for both parties involved. Now, the players who we brought in, one thing you've got to consider is I hate to say about how money is the thing, but it is. It really is when we're trying to sign elite players. We only got about 50 million, and you can see here we've only generated what? Has anyone? Yeah, no one's left on the other side. So 38 million. So we only raised about 88 million for ourselves. We adjusted the wage bill as well. We got quite a lot of wage budget. We've basically spent all of that without two players leaving. Two players who you might be quite shocked to see leave when I mention. One of them you won't, but the other one you might be. The first player brought in, Chris McGonnell, as you can see here. He is the Enrique replacement for 60 million, potentially rising 65. I think we've got ourselves a very, very good goalkeeper. A bit more on the pricey side, but I think it's a very, very good deal. He's clearly an elite goalkeeper, and overall a very, very good deal to bring in the Northern Ireland international, who's got 94 caps for them. Very, very good player that we've brought in. And the next player we've brought in for a fee of 50 million. It's Rodrigo. We've brought him in, young Spanish international, clearly a very, very good player. But you're probably questioning, why have we brought in a left winger? And to be honest, my answer is I don't know. I really, really don't know, because basically Monzon, it's just I can't stand this. This squad is doing my head in. Monzon, he had an offer from Arsenal, and he wanted to go. I rejected it. Now I've transfer listed him. I brought in his replacement. No one wants to come in for him. 30 years of age. We spent quite a lot on him, 30 million, but I'm happy to move him on now that we've got our replacement. No one's coming in for him. We've got a long time left, 32 days. But if he does not move, and we've just spent 50 million, because Monzon is an incredible player, but if he doesn't move on and we keep him, especially with, we need the money, we really need the money to sign domestic options, we still need a centre back and another player who I'll get onto in a second. I will be very, very annoyed. I think we need, obviously, with Zharov and Kravchuk leaving, it was very good having those two. So probably two direct replacements. Who they are, I don't know. It's got to be defenders and midfielders, definitely. We've got a lot of attackers as it is. I'm looking at some youth players at the moment, but we need to bring those in ideally. Maybe just the midfielder. But very, very annoyed with the dynamics. Luckily, this problems list was about 7 or 8. Now it's gone down a bit. Monzon, I was happy to let go, because the reason is as well, look who's agreeing with it. You've got Rysakov, who, if Monzon had left, I would have let Rysakov play, but he didn't really have a good season last year. But I was willing to give him a chance, but I guess not. Kuzminik also disagrees, very influential player. Shevchenko and Zeldin Rust too as well. We don't want to make them unhappy. I'm happy to let them go. It says all the dynamics here are good, but we're in a bit of a struggle. It feels like it's 2 years ago, when we had crashed out at the hands of Chelsea. But as I said, if we do it in 2 years, then I will be happy. We will win this Champions League. It's all about having that patience. The dressing room atmosphere, excellent. But I have got some problems as a manager here. But this is what management is all about. Those are the players that we have brought in terms of how the team's looking. I've set these two in the middle to go a bit deeper. Ochoa, now I forgot to mention it about what's going on with Ochoa. We are trying to cash in on him. Now, if an offer came in for 92 million, I would happily let him go for that. We signed him for 75 4 years ago now. The thing is with him is I think 92 million is too high, and now teams don't want to sign him. Look at that. Teams do want to sign him, but the list was so much bigger and teams were trying to buy him for so much less than that. I want to keep him, but he doesn't want to re-sign as well. That's the annoying thing. I would keep him if he re-signed, but he doesn't want to. He is the best player at our club, but he is too good for our club apparently. I don't know how. because we are, in terms of coefficient in the last 5 years, we are top eight, which is very, very impressive that we've managed to get there. We are top eight team in the last 5 years in Europe, but he just wants to go, and I just can't. He does my head in, honestly. He's just done it for like 2 years now. If he re-signed, I would keep him because there's no better player. But when we go into contract negotiations, he doesn't want it at all. It's so problematic if we don't let him go, and if where is he as well? Monzon doesn't go, I'm going to be fuming. Between them, if we can generate what I don't know, like 100 million probably at this point, I'll take 100 million. We want to sign a centre back. We want to sign a centre back, and then we would have to sign a midfielder, obviously. But then that would leave out the domestic options. You can see the problems that are emerging. Maybe a bit of mismanagement from me. Maybe it's like 2 years ago when it was very, very frustrating. I think we've got a very good squad that can go on the pitch, but with our injury issues last year as well, it was very, very problematic. And if we had a situation similar to that, then we would be in a bit of trouble. In a bit of trouble. So I think we have to manage it. Everyone's happy. It's just domestically, which is a problem at the moment because we don't have midfielders and defenders. Really, we're having to call on, for example, this player here, 17-year-old Alexander Kozhvenikov, and he's 17, and we have to kind of force him up because we need that players, but. He is quite a good talent. I just don't want to rush him. That's the thing. I don't want to rush him. He was being offered out by a few big clubs out. They wanted to sign him. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's still a long time to go in this transfer window, over a month. And by next episode, you will see that we have a playoff for the Champions League. I don't know why, to be honest, but we do. So next episode, it will be our first league games. I'm fairly certain. Also, another good thing is that we have played in the Club World Cup. We managed to get there as a result of our top eight. We got there, I think it's top eight, or might be more than that. We won our group in a very tough group, actually, with Boca Juniors, Al Hilal, and Liverpool. We topped that group with 7 points, but then we lost against Manchester City. They got their revenge, a 1-0 loss, but I wasn't really too bothered. We had a pre-season. These 3 games here, I don't know why, but my control of the games was taken. So we had our assistant manager take over. I don't know why, but we got a win in Rysaikov's testimonial, a loss against Man United. I picked big games for it because they've been trying to do it for years. I cancelled the ones they arranged and I picked big games for them. Bayern Munich for Rysakov. I don't know how if we take a look at previous meetings when we played them all those times, did Rysakov do well against them? I have a feeling he did get a few goals. He didn't get any there. He didn't get any there. He didn't get any there, and he didn't get any there. So he's never actually scored against them, which is quite surprising. But I like to think he had good performances against them. He did score here actually in the 4-0. He did score actually, so I missed that. But big games for them. The Kuzminik testimony against Man United, we lost that one, and then Real Sociedad offered us a game for a testimonial for one of their players. We were never going to turn it down against Real Sociedad, and we went to the Anoeta. Is it the Anoeta? No, it isn't. It's the Real San Sebastian Stadium, which is good. That's nice to see. Unfortunately, got a loss there as well. But then the annual game, a Shevchenko hat trick against the boys who will have been playing with when he was a youngster himself. He's 28 years old now, in his prime, a 40-goal season last year. We need similar from him again. A 5-0 win there. We just need injuries to be on our side, and then I don't think we have a problem. We need players to not get frustrated about loss of game time. The only time I've ever seen it is Cortazar. He was complaining about his game time a few years ago, and that's probably why I say that. But if he doesn't complain, then we'll be good. Dropping the midfielders a bit deeper so they can make from a bit deeper, because I think that was a bit of an issue. We have instead of playing as a pressing forward, a deep line forward, where Zeldin Rust can play it very, very well, and then we could put Shevchenko even higher. That's the plan. We've got a Super Cup final. It's a very, very, busy time at the club. Hopefully I can get it right. But yeah, next 2 years, this transfer window, and the next transfer window, if we're not already sorted this year, to set up this team, hang in there. We are going to win this Champions League. We're going to bounce back from the final and go on and lift that trophy. It's the Super Cup final against Karpaty. So we're going to get into this game shortly. But I just want you to see firsthand what I have to deal with at this club. Lozano offers. He's going to become unsettled if I don't accept it. I'm going to reject it. Zeldin Rust has had an offer from Man United. Reject that. He's going to become unsettled. Cortazar has had offers. He's going to become unsettled. We reject that as well. I can't wait for the other side of this game and see how annoyed they get. It's so annoying. I just wish we won it yesterday so I could get out of this club. It's been fun to build an absolute super team, but my word, it is tough. It is so tough to deal with these players and injuries and depth, all these things. So much money, but why does it matter at the end of the day? But I guess a football club is, you buying the players, and the money is because of the players, and we have to spend it on those players to generate that money. I don't know. I'm gutted we lost it really because it was such a good season for us. But what can you do? The team for this game, the rotated team, I should say, with all the the domestic players we have to bring in, starts with McDonald in goal. We've got Kambindo, Kozhvenikov, Lebedev and Cortazar, Ochoa and Lind in the middle, Rodrigo on the left, Rudenko on the right, and Zeldin Rust and Kuzmanik up top. Kick-off here in this game against Karpaty. It's a ball in near post. Cortazar is there with his trademark header, but nothing comes from that. It's a far travel, to be fair, across to, we're going to Kiev, obviously, which is quite far, but both teams will have had a far travel. Lviv, Karpaty, Lviv, opposite ends of Ukraine. We've started the domestic season really well. That's one thing I should say. 8 goals in the opening 2 games, which is always good. We cannot complain about that, but it just feels like we've got a good squad on the pitch, but when times get tough and when we need to rotate players, how will that go down? Cortazar with the header, of course he does. He got one in the Champions League final yesterday, and he gets one here in this game to put us 1-0 up. I think the problem we had 2 years ago in that season was that our team overall was not bad. I just think on the pitch it was not to the standard of it as it is now. But the problem we have now is the team on the pitch in the Champions League games. I'm always talking about the Champions League games when I speak about stuff like this. The team on the pitch is very good, but the depth is good, and when times get tough, we can't call on a Kravchuk, we can't call on a Zharov with all that experience. No Antonio anymore, We've even lost Enrique, Sauzi, 3, or 2 starting players have gone now, and 3, players who we turn to in very crucial times are all gone now, and it's been tough to replace them really because the injection of money has not been that great at all. Another 50 million and I would not be in this situation, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. And this is we have to adapt to this, and the only thing I struggle with a lot is making the content. That's the thing. It doesn't make for good content when we're kind of losing all the time, and all those all we did in the week that's just gone to lose in that final. I guess it makes it a bit more poetic, but I know as a viewer it would be quite annoying. But I guess at the same time, you've got to remain patient. You've got to believe in this process. I've given you an outline. Last year I said we make the final. I'm not going to mess around and say we're going to do something if we're not going to do it. I've said in the next 2 years I think it's possible that we do win this trophy, and that's not a bad time frame at all. Only 2 years behind. Always remember, it took us 4 years behind, 4-year delay, 10 years at Tromsø when we planned for 6, as we always do now in European football. That's what we've learned, and we created so many special memories along the way. This time it might be a little bit shorter, but if we get to that trophy in the end, I said it would be the toughest job, and these are the reasons why. As we start to see here, it was always going to be tough. Stuff like this is a bit annoying, but we have to move past it. We got so close yesterday at Wembley. It would have been nice to have that, the win and the homecoming, but it's all part of this process. We will win this trophy eventually. We've got so close. We are an incredible team at this point, but it's just a few things need refining until we have that perfect team. And would you argue we had a perfect team yesterday? I mean, you would say no because we didn't win, but at the same time, I think we were playing incredible. We know what to do now against these teams. I think that the 4-4-2 is still working for us, but dropping those guys a little bit deeper, so we don't get overrun. Having the striker as a bit of a deep in line player. I think it works out. I think it does. Will work itself out. If stuff needs changing, obviously it will be changed. Everything will be sorted out, and within these next 2 years, fingers crossed, we will have our hands on that Champions League trophy. But one trophy we could get our hands on here is this Super Cup trophy. Rudenko with a penalty, and it's saved. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention, by the way. Rudenko has returned. He had a decent spell. He didn't get loads of goals, but he got lots and lots of game time, which I think has benefited him quite a lot. 11 Europa League games I think he played, and a lot of domestic games. Played a knockout game as well, round of 16, or a playoff game I think, in the Europa League, and he's come back. I think he's just as good as he was before. He's signed a new contract. He's still quite young, and overall, I think he's a good option to bring back into this team. He can rotate on that side with Craig Harvey and also Jean, who is the starting player there, as Kuzmanik gets himself a goal here in this game. But what a ball that was in by the new signing to make it 2-0 here. Rodrigo with a lovely ball, and he's starting to show off his abilities. Hopefully he can live up to the ability of Monzon. That's an annoying thing that we've only had a season with Monzon, because he scored in the Santiago Bernabeu. He scored 25 goals in all competitions. He was a very, very good player, but if you want to cry about it, if you don't want to be here, then you don't have to be here. I can't help it. I really can't help it. If you've got a problem, just go. The door's there. I'm not going to stand in your way if you're going to act like that. But at the same time, I would like to have kept them. These players have all had offers now. I'm just going to have to promise them we win the Champions League. Like Lynn, for example, I've said we'll win the Champions League in 3 years, and if we haven't done that by then there'll be. I'd argue there's a bit of a problem, but he's given us 3 years to win it, and that's how we keep him around. I think we need similar with the rest of these guys, as well, if we want to get them to stay, and in order to we need them there to win the Champions League, because some of these boys have been so crucial. The back line, adding a centre back, and we would be a complete back line. The midfield, as small as it may be, it's always been quite a small force. Zeldin Rust is in here. He's at the crossbar. How unlucky is that from him? The midfield's always been a quite small team, but well, I'd argue they're not nailed on, but it depends on what Ochoa does, if he makes his mind up. I'll reiterate that again, by the way. If he wants to re-sign, and I will let him re-sign, but it's just about cashing in on him, because he is going to leave as a free agent next year. There's going to be pre-contract offers in January, so if we were to sell him, it would have to come now. I don't know. I really don't know. We'll have to see though. It's just so annoying. It is really, really annoying. We'll put Lozano into the midfield there. He's a player who he can't move up because he is so elite at the back. Whether or not he stays, we will have to see, because of obviously the thing with he wants to leave to go wherever it was where they had an offer, and we have to promise and hope he doesn't get annoyed, because I think it works a lot better than it used to when you say that will win the Champions League, because before they didn't believe you, but now they do believe you, which is good. That's always a nice thing, but I think we will have to see. We will have to see. All will be settled by next episode when we're back in the Champions League, and hopefully beating some teams. Hopefully we get some easier fixtures as well. I mean, off the back of what we did last year, I mean, the only players who've left from that team are Monzon and Sousa. Apart from that, everyone is still here, or they should be still here. Ochoa, whatever goes on with him, he's I said at this time last year, or this time 5 days ago, or whenever it was, that he's so damaging for the morale, and I think he still is. He's damaging for my morale, whether or not he's here, whether or not he is. We've got a minimum of 8. Shevchenko's in here to win the Super Cup final with a goal from Shevchenko. Of course he does, and it's Rodrigo with the assist, and it will not count. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying that he's so damaging for the morale. But anyway, we have a minimum of 8 players who will be here they'll be here next for the league games, and they've all experienced, winning at the Santiago Bernabeu, winning at the Camp Nou. That's not bad for my CV, to be fair. The fact that I can say that, especially considering the fact we're going to Las Palmas in our next job. When we go there with them, that's always a nice thing to know when we're trying to qualify for the Europa League, which is obviously the next goal. I think we have to take that experience into this league phase in the bid to try and get top 8, but I don't think there's going to be a massive emphasis. Maybe, I don't know. We'll really just have to see. Last season we were in a much better position than we are now, but we have to adapt, get as far as we can. We were in a pretty scuffed position when we made our semi-final a few years ago, and if we were to make a semi-final, I'd be very, very happy with that result. It's just so I think a thing that's quite influential as well is the fact that we were so close to winning it yesterday, weren't we? So close, and it just slipped away in the last 15 minutes in the second half, mainly. We couldn't get a goal. What more could we have done? I don't really know. We didn't get demolished or anything. I think it was a pretty even game, and not much more that we could have done in the end. And we have to take that experience, move forward, don't use it as a setback. We just have to, as I say, use it to continue to go on forward. And overall, it was a great occasion nonetheless, and there was always going to be tough times along this journey. You have to realise the challenge we have set ourselves on, and this is all part of it. Rodrigo gets himself a debut goal here in this game to make it 3-1. The full-time whistle is going to go, and we've picked up our Super Cup title in very, very dominant fashion as well. We've put in an absolutely amazing performance, and we cannot complain. We've started the season well. That's a good thing, and now we need to continue to go on like this. We pick up that title once again, the 5th time we've won it, or 4th. I don't know. I think it might be the 4th time. As who is going to pick that? Who is lifting that? Is it Kuzmanik? He's not the captain. It should be Shevchenko. Nonetheless, we have done it. We have won the Super Cup again. So just before I let you go in what has been a quite busy episode off the back of what happened yesterday, just look at this. Lozano wants a discussion, Zeldin Rust wants a discussion, Cortazar wants a discussion. This is what's the dynamic saying? There you go. That's another 3 issues on the board. I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. We are a top 8 team in Europe, and these guys want to go and leave to these clubs at this point in their careers. Cortazar, he's 26 years old. Zeldin Rust, he's 20 years old. And who else was it? It was Lozano. He's 4. Like, you've got so much time to play in at elite level. Just come and win the Champions League with me. I've got no idea what these guys think, honestly, but it's just what it is what it is, isn't it? So once again, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy that video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll leave you with this little tune, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.